Good evening, folks. We are back for another edition of Game Time Situation. I am Brian Vale, and this here is Chip Whipple.
That's right. We hope to keep you from being bored tonight. Springboard, that is.
Ah, yes, Chipper, that is clever, my friend. Spring is upon us, and that means warm weather and outdoor sports being played here at AU.
We'll update you, the viewer, on all the latest in Ashland athletics, and we will have the return of the Game Time Spotlight.
Well, we'd better get rolling with this show, then.
Not yet. Okay, now.
It's game time. Who?
Baseball team held their home opener all the way back on March 26th against West Liberty State. The Eagles really looked to steal a couple of victories in the doubleheader, and they did just that. In the first game, Ashland fell behind 2-1 heading into the bottom of the fourth. The Eagles crossed the plate 7 times in the inning, though, to take an 8-2 lead, and ended up winning the game by that margin. Sophomore Ben Menard came in for relief for the Eagles and earned the victory. In the 3 innings of scoreless relief, Menard allowed only 2 hits. The team got 9 stolen bases in the game, 4 of which came from junior Tyson Rowland. I think we're going to hear a little bit about him later. In the second game, freshman Brad Thomas pitched 3 innings, giving up 3 runs, but got the win because of the Eagles' bats. AU put another 7 spot on the board this time in the bottom of the second inning. Senior Chase Beatty singled to start it off, Brian Thrasher singled to right to score Beatty, then Chris Haycox dropped down a bunt single. Kuroga then hit a 2-run double to right, Kroger would score on a Menard double, and Beatty ended the scoring in the inning with a 2-run triple. Jacob Petcack and Jeff Yates would also homer in the game as the Eagles won big 17-5.
That's big. All right, so take a breath and just bask.
That's like 12. That's pretty, it's a large amount.
In one game.
The Eagles next traveled to Northwood to open up GLIAC play. In the first game of the series, it was the David Kuroga show.
DQ.
Yeah, he's tasty treats. Kuroga went 4 for 4 with 2 RBI, and that was just in the first game. Highlighting his game was a 2-run triple in the top of the 5th. Simon Liston took the mound for the Eagles in the game going the distance. Liston pitched 7 innings, giving up only 3 hits and 1 run. The Eagles ended up winning the contest 7-1. Mr. Kuroga did not cool off much in the second game this time, going 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. In the game, Kuroga doubled twice and tripled. Ben Menard pitched a complete game in the 12-2 victory. Menard threw 7 innings, giving up 8 hits while striking out 7. The Eagles played another doubleheader the next day against Northwood. How did they fare there, Vale?
The Eagles headed to Northwood for a 4-game set beginning March 29th. In the first game of the weekend, Matt Schultz and Todd Schlenkerman combined to allow just 4 hits and 1 run, but the Eagle offense could not get much going either. With the game tied at 1 going into the 7th inning, it was Kuroga again getting things started with a 1-out infield single. Jacob Petcack reached on an error, and then Menard was hit by a pitch. Then Jeff Yates hit a ground ball to third base, enough to score Kuroga and take the lead. Schlenkerman had an up-and-down 7th inning, eventually closing out the game. In the 7th, he struck out the leadoff batter and then walked the next, and then another strikeout, and then another walk. He recorded a looking strikeout to end the game. Kuroga and Tyson Rowland had 2 hits each in the win, and in the second game of the day, AU took a 2-0 lead in the 3rd inning. In the bottom of the 4th, though, Northwood tied the game at 2 off Eagle starter Brad Thomas. In the 5th, a bases-loaded triple helped the Wolves take control as they scored 5 runs off Thomas. Ashland could not answer, and they were forced to take the split for the day, not to be confused with Kuroga and his Sunday split, like banana. Rowland and Kuroga, again, had 2 hits at the top of the AU order. Thomas went 4 2/3 innings, allowing 7 runs on 6 hits to get the loss. Ashland returned home to Donges Field a few days later, facing Slippery Rock in a doubleheader. The Eagles broke open a close game in the 5th inning of the first game, with Chris Haycox driving in 2 runs with a base hit. The single capped a 3-run inning, putting AU up 6-1. That would be the final score, as Schlenkerman got the win, going 6 innings, allowing 1 run on 4 hits. He struck out 8. Ben Menard had 3 hits, driving in 2 runs. In Game 2, Ashland led 1-0 through 3, but exploded in the fourth inning to break open the game. Rowland, Menard, and Yates all had RBI singles in the inning, and Menard threw 5 hitless innings to get the win. Dan McGinnis and Simon Liston combined to close out the game, allowing just 1 hit in the contest. The 5-0 win gave AU 18 wins for the season. Chip, a weekend series with Tiffin was next. Could they slay the Dragons?
Ashland started up a weekend home-and-home series against Tiffin on April 5th. In the first game of the weekend, the Ashland Bats hit everything that came at them. The Eagles plated 2 runs in the first, 5 in the second, 5 more in the third, 4 in the fourth, and 1 more in the sixth. Thomas pitched a complete game and earned the victory in another 17-5 contest. In the game, Yates went 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs. Quiroga did almost as well, going 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored. The second game did not go nearly as well for the Eagles as they started Todd Pinkelman. Pinkelman is hurt and will be forced to have Tommy John surgery, but Ashland decided for some reason to send him out to pitch anyway. Pinkelman lasted only a third of an inning, giving up 5 hits and 5 earned runs. Dan McGinnis came on in relief and pitched the rest of the game, giving up 6 earned runs on 9 hits. The Ashland Bats tried to keep the Eagles in the game, though. After Tiffin's early 5 spot in the first, the Eagles struck back with 4 in the bottom of the fourth on RBIs by Menard, Yates, Casper, and Josh Kirsten. Ashland added another run in the bottom of the second to tie the game, but the Dragons scored 4 in the top of the third to put the game out of reach. The Dragons ended up winning the contest 12-9. The two teams then traveled to Tiffin the next day to play another doubleheader. In the first game, the Eagles fell behind early again on an RBI single in the first by Tiffin. Menard evened the score by leading off the top of the second with a home run. Not to be outdone, Matt McAllister then led off the third inning with the homer of his own. Menard added another run in the third on an RBI single. Those runs were enough as the Eagles held on for a 5-2 victory. Matt Schultz took the mound for the Eagles, pitching a complete game. Schultz allowed 3 runs on 6 hits and struck out 4 to win the game. In the second game, the Eagles struck first with an RBI single by Petcack and a sac fly by Menard in the top of the first. Tiffin came back in the bottom of the second, though, scoring 4 runs to take the lead. That would be all the runs Tiffin would score as sophomore Jeremy Sloan came on in the third and pitched 5 innings of scoreless ball, allowing only 3 hits. AU retook the lead in the top of the fifth on a 2-out, 2-run double by Eberhardt. The Eagles ended up hanging on to win the game 8-4. With the victory, Sloan earned the first victory of his collegiate career. Staying in Ohio, Ashland next traveled to Findlay last Tuesday for a doubleheader. AU was not sent home very happy. In the opener, Ashland led 3-2 heading into the bottom of the 7th inning. Spencer first led off the frame with a double to right center, and Rohan doubled to left field to tie the game 3-3. AU pitcher Ben Menard got the next 2 batters out, then walked firstman Brian Sampsell intentionally. That brought Matt Wilson to the plate, and he ended the game with a single to score Rohan. The second game would go much worse for the Eagles as they were beat handily 17-4. Simon Liston started the game, but could not get out of the third inning after giving up 7 earned runs. The lone bright spot for the Eagles on offense was John Cusio, who went 1 for 1 with 3 RBI. Now, Vail, did the weather keep the Eagles from playing this past weekend?
No, but it did postpone half of their scheduled games. Saginaw Valley was able to travel to Donges for games last weekend. However, Saturday saw blustery conditions with the wind blowing straight out, and that allowed some big offensive conditions. It was 2-2 when Ashland came to bat in the bottom of the 4th inning, and Nick Casper singled to lead off, followed by a rolling base hit. Chase Beatty reached on an error, loading the bases. A wild pitch scored the first run of the frame, and then Matt McAllister was hit by a pitch. After an out on a fielder's choice, Chris Haycox came to the plate. The shortstop blasted a grand slam over the left center field wall. Petcack followed with a single, and then Menard once again homered to deep left field. Quentin Eberhardt and Beatty hit home runs for the Eagles in the 6th, giving Ashland 15 runs in the game. Menard went the distance in the 15-9 win, allowing 9 runs on 9 hits. He also had 4 hits and 4 RBIs to help his own cause in the win. The second game also saw plenty of fireworks, as AU scored in every inning on their way to a 17-11 win. Haycox hit a 2-run homer in the first inning, getting the Eagles within a run of the Cardinals. Beatty stole home in the bottom of the inning to tie the game at 3. Little Jackie Robinson action there for you on the anniversary of his debut in Major League Baseball.
Pretty impressive.
He then hit a 3-run home run in the third to put AU up 6-3. Ashland scored 4 runs apiece in the 4th and the 5th innings and then added 3 more in the 7th. Schultz got the win, going 4 innings, allowing 11 hits on 7 runs. 4 Cardinals pitched, with AU getting to each. Reliever Craig Erminger allowed 7 runs on 6 hits in 2 innings. Now, Sunday's games were postponed due to the snow. Oh dear, in the middle of April? That's not fun. The Eagles are in action at Fenway right now, and coming into these games tonight, AU is 23-9 overall and 5-3 in the GLIAC.
There is your look at Eagle baseball to this point. When we return, we'll take a peek at the other Diamond athletes on campus.
More Game Time Situation right after this.
My name's Andy McDonald. I ride this useless wooden toy for a living. It's hard. I've been doing it for 13 years. I'm still lame. I do a trick called a 540. Took me a good 6 years to learn. There's a whole generation of skateboarders out there that are just as talented athletically as any basketball or football player. It takes somebody that's not going to be afraid to fall down a lot, because you definitely will fall down. You're not a failure until you refuse to get back up. Drugs are only going to hinder what I'm trying to do. That right there is my idea of getting high.
The softball team came back from Florida, and their first 2 contests were postponed against Tiffin and Missouri S&T. The Eagles hosted their first contest on Saturday, March 29th. AU took on Hillsdale in the doubleheader and was able to earn the split. The Eagles struck first in the opening game, scoring in the first inning.
Striking going on. Are the Jedis involved?
Yes, they're all Jedis.
Okay.
Erica Miller tripled to lead off the inning and scored on an error. Ashland added 5 runs in the bottom of the third off of a Kristen McGahee 2-run single and an RBI single by Amanda Thomas, and a couple of errors by the Chargers. Logan Hersey earned the victory for Ashland, pitching 6 innings, giving up 1 run and striking out 4. In the second game, the Eagles couldn't put the bat on the ball as they were unable to score any runs and were limited to 4 hits. The Chargers won the contest 4-0. Charger Kelly Hurst got the complete game victory, striking out 4. Eagle Shannon Gray took the loss, pitching 4 innings, giving up 2 runs. The following day, the Eagles played host to Wayne State for a twin bill, hoping to get back to their winning ways. Ashland once again could not find a way to plate a runner as they were shut out for the second consecutive game in a 6-0 loss. Besides not being able to score a run in this contest, the Eagles could not even get a hit. Wayne State pitcher Molly Yetman threw a no-no, improving her record to 12-2. Only an error in the third prevented Yetman from throwing a perfect game. Samantha Hendricks took the loss for the Eagles, pitching 4 2/3 of an inning, giving up 6 runs on 6 hits. In the second game, it was another strong pitching performance by the Warriors, but this time they were matched pitch for pitch by the Eagles' Hersey. The game remained tied going into the bottom of the 6th inning. The Warriors led off with back-to-back singles by Amanda Van't Woot and Sarah Berry. Following a sac bunt and an intentional walk, Hersey was able to strike a batter out with the bases loaded to get the second out. But the Warriors prevailed, hitting a single into left field that proved the difference in the game as Wayne State won 1-0. It was the 3rd consecutive game that the Eagles could not score any runs. Hersey took the loss, and Yetman earned her 2nd win of the day. Vale, please tell me that the softball team could start scoring some runs in their next game.
No, they couldn't in their next game, but it was the next day, maybe.
That's close enough.
All right, the team hosted Northern Kentucky for a doubleheader on April 2nd. In the first game, Logan Hersey and Amanda Smith dueled, with neither offense able to get much going. The game was scoreless through 4, but NKU struck in the 5th inning. Hersey struck out the first 2 batters of the frame, but a single, an error, and then a base hit to left field drove in a run, and that was all that was needed in the contest. AU lost another game 1-0, as Hersey took another tough loss, despite going 7 and allowing 4 hits and 1 run. She walked 5 and struck out 5. Amanda Thomas had 2 hits for AU. NKU jumped out to a 5-0 lead in the 3rd inning of the second game before the Eagle Bats woke up. Kristen McGahee hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 3rd, cutting the lead to 5-2, ending a 28 game. That would be a long time to not score.
Yes, it would.
28 innings is the phrase that I was looking for. That's a little bit of a different time reference. Danny Reichner drove in a run in the 6th, and then Jessica Cantrell tripled to score another run. AU won 7-5 as Sam Hendricks and Shannon Gray combined to allow 5 runs on 10 hits as Gray pitched 4 shutout innings.
The Eagles next made the trip over to Erie to play the 2 Pennsylvania schools, Gannon and Mercyhurst. Ashland first matched up against Gannon for a doubleheader on April 5th. Hersey struggled mightily in the first game, giving up 10 runs, 9 of which were earned, in 6 innings while striking out 6. The Eagles' offense tried to do their part, scoring 5 runs. Kelly Williams led the Eagles with 2 RBI. Erica Miller also went 3 for 4 and drove in a run. Ashland turned it around in the second game, though, winning 2-1. Gray pitched a complete game 4-hitter while striking out 4.
I believe she scattered 4 hits if she gave up a run. Can't throw a
4-hitter if you give up a run.
How many hits were there?
4.
It's a 4-hitter.
Okay.
Kristen McGahee had the only RBI for the Eagles, going 1 for 2. The next day, AU made the crosstown trip to Mercyhurst to play 2 more. Hersey again struggled in the first game, giving up 10 hits, but the difference this time is that only one of those runners scored. Ashland was able to put 2 runs across the plate, which proved to be the difference in a 2-1 victory. In the second game, Gray pitched phenomenal, throwing a complete game 2-hitter. Gray struck out 1 and did not allow a walk in the contest. Danielle Reichner led the Eagle offense, going 1 for 3 with 2 RBI. The win put the Eagles on a 3-game winning streak. Now, Vail, did the winning continue?
On April 8th, Malone was the host for Ashland University softball in a doubleheader with the Eagles. In Game 1, Shannon Gray shut down the Malone offense, and the AU bats were hot, resulting in a 7-0 win. Gray went all 7 innings, allowing just 2 hits and striking out 6 batters. Erica Miller led the Lady Eagle offense, driving in 4 runs on 2 hits. She walked once and scored twice. Amanda Thomas had 3 hits and scored all 3 times she reached base. In the second game, AU continued their success, jumping out to an early lead. Miller led off the game with a single, and then Jennifer Alderson singled with 1 out. Kristen McGahee reached on fielder's choice, which ended up scoring Miller on a Malone error. Thomas followed with an RBI base hit, and then Ashley Barzak homered to left center field. AU did not let up and went on to win 10-2. Sam Hendricks pitched 6 shutout innings, allowing 4 hits. The win gave her 4 for the season. In the game, Ashland collected 15 hits, as Thomas had 4 hits to lead the way. Alderson and Barzak each had 3 hits, and Angie Westenkircher had 2 knocks. AU was scheduled to play Grand Valley State April 12th, but weather prevented the teams from matching up. There would be no rest, though, as the Lady Eagles had to play the next day, Sunday. The Lady Eagles took on Ferris State in some less than ideal conditions at Brookside Park. In the first game, Ashland got all their runs in 1 inning. Ashley Barzak hit a 1-out double in the second inning. After a ground-out, Danny Reichner singled in Barzak to give AU a 1-0 lead. Lindsey Brandt followed with another base hit, and then Miller doubled to left field, driving in 2 more runs. The 3-0 lead was enough for the Eagle pitchers, as Logan Hersey went 6 innings, allowing 5 hits and 2 runs. Shannon Gray relieved, throwing a hitless 7th to close out the game. In Game 2, the Lady Eagles could not get much going, as they collected just 2 hits. The Bulldogs got to Gray, who allowed 9 runs on 9 hits. The 9-0 loss dropped AU to 16-12 overall, 5-5 in the GLIAC. They are in action right now, hosting Findlay at Brookside in a doubleheader.
So the softball team has been up and down lately. Good to see you joined us. We'll discuss some athletes that know about going up and down.
The track and field teams here at AU, Chip. Stay tuned for the latest on them right after this.
This is a banana. This is a cat. This is fire. This is harmless and actually helpful to some people. Don't believe everything you hear. The fact is that every major health organization rejects smoked marijuana. Now that the smoke is cleared, discover truecompassion.org.
The outdoor track and field season is underway, with the men and women traveling around the country to compete in spring action. The men went to Coastal Carolina to start the season on March 25th, facing several Division I programs. Senior Brian Ryman won the 200-meter dash, qualifying provisionally for nationals next month. Blaine Mag in the shot put and the 4x100 relay team of Joe Horn, Nick Belanco, Ryman, and Jerry Azell also qualified provisionally for nationals. The following weekend in Raleigh, North Carolina, the Eagles had more success. Robert Clank and Brian Vickers both qualified for nationals, Clank in the hammer throw and Vickers in the shot put. Vickers qualified provisionally in the discus as well, and Mike Jeffrey did the same in the hammer throw.
On March 29th, the Eagles competed in the Worcester Invitational, finishing 5th in the 9-team event. Notre Dame College finished in first place. Brandon Goodall took home first in the 100-meter dash. Al Dunson took home the gold in the 110 hurdles and the 400-meter hurdles. Dan Tierney and Brian Mozena placed 1 and 2 in the pole vault, and Malcolm Majeski and Nate Logan went 2-3 in the discus. At the 2008 Oliver Nikoloff Invitational in Cincinnati, the Eagles finished second in the 18-team event. The host Bearcats finished first. Joe Horn took second place in the 200-meter dash and second in the 400-meter dash. Max Hiltner also took home the silver in the 800. Brandon Bauer got the gold medal in the 3,000-meter steeplechase. Dunson finished second in the 100 hurdles. Tierney took home the gold in the pole vault. Brian Vickers had the best day for the Eagles, finishing in first in both the shot put and the discus. Finishing out the placing for Ashland was Robert Klenk, winning the weight throw. How did the Eagles do at Akron, Vale?
Last weekend, the Eagles took third in the Northeast Quad Meet at Akron University. Akron won the 4-team event, but AU had several top performers at the meet. Max Hiltner won the 1,500-meter run, while Anthony Begro took third. Nick Balanco won the 400-meter dash. Dan Tierney won the pole vault. Mike Jeffrey won the gold in the hammer throw, and Kurt Roberts won the shot put. Joe Horn took runner-up in the 200-meter dash. Al Dunson finished second in the 110-meter hurdles. The 4x400 relay team was second, and Blaine Mag took second in the discus. The All-Ohio Championships are next for the men this weekend at the University of Cincinnati.
The outdoor track season got underway back on March 20th through the 22nd for the women at the Coastal Carolina Shamrock Invitational. The field was filled with strong Division I schools, but the Eagles still put together some strong finishes. Junior Alyssa Klein won the 100 hurdles with a time of 13.7. That's a school record and an automatic qualification for the NCAA National Championship meet. Freshman Steph Tinney reached a provisional qualification in the 400 meters, and sophomore Lisa Roth won the heptathlon. The following week, the women competed in the Raleigh relays. Jen Tinney took second place in the shot put. She was the only woman to place in the Division I dominated event. How did the women do back closer to home, Vale?
On March 29th, the Lady Eagles competed in the Worcester Invitational, finishing fourth in the 10-team event. Walsh won the meet, edging the host. Michelle Iza won the 100-meter dash, also finishing second in the 200-meter run. Abby Cassandi won the high jump, as Shallon Boyer took second. Lauren Peelman took gold in the pole vault, and the 4x400 relay team took runner-up in their event. Ilya Fitzhugh finished third in both the 100 and 200-meter dashes.
The women's track team also competed in the Northeast Quad Meet this past weekend at Akron University. The women took second out of Kent State, Youngstown State, and Akron. The host Zips took home first. Lisa Roth took second place in the 400 hurdles. Klein placed second in the 100 hurdles. Klein also placed third in the 200-meter dash. Abby Cassandi placed first in the high jump, while her teammate Shaylin Boyer took second. Steph Abbott also took home a second-place finish in the long jump. The team will next compete at the All-Ohio Championships at the University of Cincinnati. Now, we've taken a couple of weeks off to get the spotlight nice and toasty. So this week, Brendan will be putting Ashland center fielder Tyson Rowland underneath the bright lights. Let's see if he can handle the heat.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Ashland center fielder Tyson Rowland. How are you doing tonight, Tyson?
I'm great.
All right, are you ready to go into the game time spotlight?
I'm ready.
All right. Now, you're on as a center fielder, and you're part of a veteran group of guys on this baseball team. What kind of leadership do you try and bring to those younger guys in an inexperienced team? What kind of things do you try to show them?
Well, it's actually really fun playing with the older guys on the team because I'm a fourth-year junior here, and I always feel like, oh man, I'm the experienced one here. And then I look at my left fielder, and he's a fifth-year senior. I look at my right fielder, and he's a fifth-year senior. And it's really fun because they're still teaching me, yet we don't really have any sophomore, junior outfielders, and then it goes right to freshmen. And so, like, at the same time I'm teaching them, I'm still getting taught. And it's just fun because you don't have to communicate as much because I've been playing with the same guys now for 2 years. You just get used to, they know what you're thinking, and your communication goes really well.
Okay. Playing in this program, it's been to the World Series 2 years ago, and then you've made the playoffs for 2 years in a row now. Is there any kind of added pressure and there expectations with this program that Coach Shelley has put together here?
Oh, absolutely. Our goal every year is to get the World Series and win it. But the last 2 years we've been to the regionals, and as a team, I think we put the most pressure on ourselves because as a team we expect to be playing in the regionals and competing to go to that World Series position every year. And especially with we have an older group, a good core seniors this year, and they've been to the World Series in the past, and we know what it feels like to be there. and we really want that, and we expect ourselves to do that again.
Okay, and then you guys had lost 2 games at Findlay, really weren't scoring many runs, the bats kind of quieted down, and then Coach Shalley came into the Saginaw Valley games last week, and he had changed the lineup. You were the normal leadoff hitter, you moved down to 6th in the lineup. David Kuroga normally hits 2nd, moved to leadoff. What was Coach Shalley trying to do, and you guys exploded for 32 runs. Just what was the mindset there?
Well, Coach Shelley actually talked to me the day before, and I was struggling a little bit, and he asked, would you like to be moved down the lineup? And I thought it was a good idea, and he wanted to do it. And is a way you get moved down the lineup, you see more fastballs, you see some better pitches to hit. And the guy he moved into the 2-hole, Chris Haycox, has been hitting amazing as of lately, and Kuroga's been doing great all year. And so, I mean, the lineup worked really well, and the guys liked it. It was something different. We just kind of got a little boost of energy, being like, hey, guys are in different spots. Let's see what this can do. And it worked out great.
Almost a fresh perspective almost for this new lineup.
It almost did, and I really didn't mind it because batting in the 6th hole, you come up every time you're up the plate, guys are on base, ready to score again.
Okay. And then you guys had 32 runs, and then coming off that Findlay doubleheader sweep, was it just letting out a lot of frustration?
Definitely. I mean, after the Findlay game, we were really down for a little bit. We didn't really understand why. We felt like we were swinging the bats good, but then when you look at results, they just aren't there. And we had confidence in ourselves, and we're like, let's just put it together here. And everybody just went up there with their job to do, not focusing on trying to hit a 10-run home run, because that's not possible, but just trying to do their job, get on base, and all the pieces fell into place one day, and we put it together.
All right, and then you guys are 23-9 overall right now, 5-3 in the GLIAC. What are your goals for the rest of this year and then next year? I know you said the World Series is always your main goal, but what are you looking to do both as a team and individually?
As a team, right now, we've put ourselves in contention to fight to win the GLIAC championship. Your goal ultimately for the league is to make the GLIAC playoffs and once you get the playoffs, you try to win that, because that's really where you can buy your bid into the regionals. But besides that, are we in 3rd place right now?
Yeah, tied for 3rd right now.
Tied for 3rd. I mean, and we still got to play Findlay again, and we still got to play Wayne State, who are above us. So I think we're in good contention with that. As far as myself goes, my goal every day is to help the team do what we can to win. And that's always been my goal, and I think it always will be, because ultimately we play the game to win, and we play the game to have fun. But it's a lot more fun when you do win, and so that's what I'm going to try to do out there.
All right. Well, thanks, Tyson, for joining us. You are now officially off the Game Time Spotlight.
Nice.
We'll be back with more Game Time Situation right after this.
Hello, I'm Robin Mead, Headline News Anchor, and I bring the news to millions of people every day. Did you know that Ashland University is the 3rd largest private university in Ohio, offers nationally recognized programs in teacher education, political science, and finance, boasts a strong Division II athletic program, and is close to you, midway between Cleveland and Columbus? Ashland University is my alma mater. It gave me the individual attention that I needed to succeed. Explore Ashland University at exploreashland.com.
Ashland University announced the hiring of a new wrestling coach at a news conference yesterday. Tim Derlin will take over the spot recently parted Ray Kowach. Derlin wrestled for Purdue University in college and won 3 state championships in Ohio for West Liberty Salem High School. Derlin most recently has been the lead assistant wrestling coach for Lehigh University since 2006. The women's golf team traveled to the Northern Kentucky Invitational, held March 29th through the 30th at Perry Park Golf Course. AU finished 12th among 20 teams that participated in the competition. Surprise, surprise, Grand Valley State took home the winner's trophy. Ashland's best placement was turned in by Christine Sucky, who finished in a tie for 14th. She shot 156. Annie Miles was next in line for the Eagles. She shot 162. On the weekend of April 2nd, the Eagles hosted the AU Invitational. The Eagles finished in 4th place out of 7 teams. The event took place at the Ashland Country Club, where Ferris took first place. Ashland had 4 golfers finish in the top 20. Junior Bridget Slonkowski was 15th with a score of 168, while senior Megan Marks was 1 spot behind with 169. Sophomore Janice Greenblatt and freshman Andrea Engel tied for 20th with 174. The women return to the course this weekend at the Capital Invitational at Table Rock Country Club.
The men's golf team has gotten back into action for the spring season as well. On April 5th, the men took 16th at the NKU Regional Invitational. Indianapolis won the event, shooting a team 577. AU shot a 601, led by senior Chris Robertson. Robertson tied for 25th, shooting a 147 in the 2-day event. We'll hear from him a little bit later. This past weekend, the team was busy, taking 5th in the Findlay Outback Steakhouse Invitational on April 12th.
Yummy.
Wayne State won the event, shooting a 600. AU shot a 613 team total, and Robertson took a tie for 8th, shooting 151. Chris Bacon, more food, and
getting hungry.
John Furlong both shot 152, tying for 11th place. The Eagles hosted the Ashland Invitational Sunday and Monday at the Country Club of Ashland, aptly named. It's a country club in Ashland. AU took 5th place, but the story was Robertson. The senior won the individual event, shooting a 145. That score tied him with Eric Atzma of Findlay, and on the first hole of the playoff, Robertson birdied, giving him his 2nd collegiate win in his career. As a team, Ashland shot a 613, finishing 18 strokes behind Grand Valley, who won the competition.
Surprise, surprise.
The Eagles will next tee it up in Indiana for the Great Lakes Regional Tournament this coming weekend.
Sorry, but that's all we have this week.
Well, that's too bad, but we'll be back, right?
Don't fret, Vale. We will return April 30th for the season finale of Game Time Situation.
What are we going to do then, Chip?
Well, we'll recap the entire school year in AU athletics and take a look at some of the highlights of the past year.
That sounds like fun. I really can't wait.
Well, until next time, have a good evening, everyone.
Thanks for watching.